as the Rangers journal.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Rangers Journal podcast tonight. I am joined by Scotty Mackay. How are you?
Aye, not bad at all, Dino, not bad at all. Your first night hosting the night, mate. You nervous?
Not at all.
No. I am all good.
Good. And how are you getting on as well, Chris?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Happy to be on. Happy to look at a few things, maybe less looking forward to Saturday, but I'm happy to be on and talking to you tonight anyway.
Hi, brilliant. So tonight we're going to be discussing the man, the enigma, the mystery, Sam Lammers. So first of all, I'm going to start with you, Scott.
Aye.
How do you think Sam Lammers was going to do when we signed him? What was your thoughts?
I don't know, to be honest. We seemed to be at the time filling with team with journeymen or people whose careers had stalled, and Rangers had become a bit of a home for these type of players to come in and get themselves up and running again, because Raskin was lingering away in the standardly age reserves and Cantwell wasn't get a game at Norwich, and they both came in and had a positive impact. So we gave Bailey keys to the kingdom and he bought more of the type of same players. Apart from one or two, you could kind of maybe look at that was supposed to come in with more an impact, who'd been playing Villa matches, but I didn't really know what to expect for Lammers. I thought it would have took a very special manager to get. I mean, you're really looking at the kind of impact that Arteta and Havertz have had. Do you know what I mean? You're looking for a story like that to develop. I'm not saying that Michael Beale's on a par with Mikel Arteta. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is you needed something similar like that to happen for Lammers to kind of to have a positive effect on the team. I was quite optimistic about it, especially during pre-season, Dean.
Aye, I think he was probably the one shining light that we had in all the pre-season. It was quite a dismal pre-season, let's be honest. But he stood out like a sore thumb, in my opinion. And Chris, I'm going to come to you next question. See, obviously a lot of people say you can't take too much for pre-season and don't look too much into it and etc. But cast your memory back to pre-seasons that we had under Gerrard. Now, I do appreciate first couple of years we were in a lot of European qualification matches and we're playing competitive matches, but we were pretty solid every pre-season that we had with Gerrard. We come to last summer, we've got Lammers, big 4 million signing. We're playing absolutely donkey football. He's sticking out like a sore thumb. Did you even have any optimism that he was going to, be the one that would maybe carry the torch, so to speak, at the beginning of the season?
I mean, as you say, the pre-season wasn't great. I think we were, as a support, kind of hoping that it was just sort of going through the motions a bit and, hoping that we would drive forward in terms of when the real stuff started. You cast your mind back, as you say, to Gerrard. Absolutely. I think the squad benefited from those European games and the standard getting better round after round. To go so far in Europe is that starting point at times was brilliant. But to go back to Lammers, I thought he looked good. He looked the part. And it's good to see him obviously doing well in his spell where he's went. But for was it 3.5, 4 million? I think we brought him in. You were expecting big things from the big signings, and if we're going to be honest, it never really kicked off. I mean, there was a couple of moments for Lammers, but I think ultimately I think he said that he was never played in his favoured position and things like that. But there was managers putting faith in Lammers at various points. I know Clement gave him a fair run as well to kind of prove himself. But what started off quite promising, I think, for him anyway, sort of petered out, and probably as a player that's probably much more suited to the sort of pace and style of Dutch football than the football that we see in our country. But It's as I say, it's a good thing to see a Rangers player go out and do well on loan, and we could potentially maximise from it as opposed to the opposite effect. But he started off well, but I think the right move ended up happening for him.
Yeah, and there was a lot of, I remember, murmurings about him signing and, it being a gamble and things like that, because, he hadn't really hit the strides that he had, when he was 21-ish, round about then. So there was a good few years that he was just not to the levels that he was obviously at when he was younger. So I'm going to come with you, Scotty. Obviously, with Beale obviously signing players not knowing where they were going to be playing, how did you think that Lammers was going to do once we realised that Beale didn't really have much of a plan? Like, I was under the impression that Lammers maybe needed somebody to actually, as Chris said, they're playing in his right position. But that clearly wasn't happening under Beale, was it?
No, it definitely wasn't, Dino. Definitely wasn't. It was, don't know. Tactically, I think Sam Lammers is a manager's dream, because you tell him to do something, he'll do it in terms of positioning and discipline and stuff on the park, but he wasn't really having an effect on the park, was his main problem. I mean, you look at some of his goals, especially even for Utrecht, since he's went there, and he's kind of gliding past players and putting it past the keeper. And I'm just looking at Paul's comment here. He's kind of saying, like, we need to remember defenders in Holland on these physicals, the SPFL. I think that kind of sums Sam Lammers up, to be honest with you. I think it's just not suited to be in the Rangers jersey.
Nah, I did think the weight of the jersey was a bit too much for him, and that was evident. And I think a lot of the games we were playing, we were as good as a man down when he played. And something you said there, Chris, Clement gave him loads of chances. I can remember sitting thinking to myself, why on earth is he starting him? Because he's clearly rank rotten. So I'm going to get you pull the slides up, please, and let's have a wee look at them. So Chris, see here, right? So 17 starts, appearances for Rangers, 10 starts, 3 goal contributions, right? Now, when you're saying that, so how many of those games would we say that Clement would have given him? Maybe 7? Would that maybe be a fair number?
Aye,
7
probably.
appearances under Clement, probably. And when Clement obviously came in, you knew that he was obviously going to have to change things, and I just felt that he just got far too many chances under Clement. Is that kind of what you're meaning there?
Aye, I mean, I thought for me, he can't, for me anyway, Lammers cannot say that, it was the new manager coming in and not fancying him, giving him opportunities. I know one of the comments there about playing him in probably his natural position, maybe up front. He did tend to play various different positions, maybe in behind, but aye, I mean, again, stats there are pretty damning in terms of the impact for himself, and then obviously his move across back over where he's been involved, not just in the figures are good, but he's been involved in sort of big moments. I think he scored again at the weekend there. He's contributed at big chances, and fair play to him, for going over to Utrecht and sort of making it work. Because I think with football playing, I think he's 27 into Lammers. So I think for a player like that, probably on a decent contract at us, you've seen other players potentially just kind of down tools in our club and other clubs. So the fact that he's went over there and grafted, which is pretty clear there, you can see from his stats at Utrecht that he's went over there to make it work. He's clearly very, very interested in his football and very, very interested in making an impact in his career. But sadly for me, that's not going to be at Rangers. But if we can, 3.5 million to 4 million, if we can try and cut our losses and get that cash back, then when he left us in January, I never thought that would have been a possibility, to be honest. So,
no, I think that's across the whole support, Chris. Nobody in Million Monthly Sundays thought that we would have been able to even remotely get close to our money back for him. So, and look at that there, Scotty, though. So it's 18 appearances for them. So similar to Rangers, and 13 goal involvements. which is quite. I think it's quite a lot as well for a team of Utrecht, because we're not right in saying they were like lower down the league when he signed for them. Is that right? They weren't even mid-table, were they? They were quite near the bottom, were they? No.
I think they were. I think they were lingering above the relegation zone, but I think they were comfortably lingering. If that makes any sense. They weren't in a good position. They weren't in a good position, but I don't get me wrong. There's ability there in the big man. He just needs the right environment to bring it out. And I don't think Rangers can provide that environment, and it's not anything against on him or his ability, but he's clearly went to a different team in his hometown, in his home country, and he feels good, and he's playing his best stuff. So why bring him back and rock the boat and like, do you know what I mean? Like there's different things going about the media. Obviously, we'll get into that, but I mean, his goal contributions in a Utrecht shirt compared to his 10 starts, 17 appearances, 18 appearances for Utrecht, and he's nearly 3 times the goal contributions, 4 times it. So I hope we sell him. I hope we get a good fee, and I don't want to see him back in the Rangers jersey again, for being honest.
No, and you see, right? Just on the flip side of that, if he had stayed the whole season with us and he's ended up with 20, 25 goal contributions, he's a sellable asset. We would be looking to sell him this summer. Let's be honest. If there was teams interested in him, we would be looking to sell him. So the fact that we're able to get our money back for somebody who was unable to really do anything for us is going to be an absolutely brilliant piece of business for us, and that money that we can get can be invested into somebody that can hopefully can come in and do what he's done at Utrecht. That's the optimism in it. And see as well, just a question to both of you. Chris, I'll come to you first. See with Lammers and his younger years playing in Holland. He went to Italy and then he wasn't any good there. So you'd said there, Scott, about going. It's going to be a Dutch team that's going to come in from, you'd imagine, yeah, if it's not Utrecht.
I think, when I'm just looking at his stats before we come on earlier on, and obviously starts off PSV, plays for the youth PSV team, starts to looks like he kind of gets a goal every 2 games for them, plays for the main PSV team, doesn't really, kick on too much, goes out to Heerenveen, does all right. So does all right for Heerenveen 18-19 season. Atalanta was there 2020 to 2023, albeit with a couple of loans in there. I'll touch on them. 2 goals for Atalanta, 17 appearances, a goal for Frankfurt, and 15 appearances, a goal for Empoli, on 14 appearances, and 1 goal for Sampdoria, before he ends up making his way to Chelsea at 17. So it's not the Rangers season is. I think the probably the fluke is the Utrecht loan. But when you look at the Heerenveen loan, albeit 2018, 2019, it's recapturing some of that form. So maybe he's just a player that's just suited to being at home, suited to playing in Holland. Maybe he doesn't travel well. Maybe he doesn't like other leagues. Maybe maybe it's just not for him. It might just be the case. The league that he plays in at home is better suited to him. He might feel more comfortable there. I get the impression that he with those amount of moves as well, like it looks to me like he's searching for something. Like he's not just content, just sitting on a bench and getting the big contract with Atalanta, and just he wants to get out and prove himself. So I think, and also as well, when you look at the Rangers season, really, all looks like under Clement we started to perform well, but to come into Bill, there was clearly a lot of issues going on in the background at the club at that time. Quite a number of things that you've maybe started to hear about, and various things in the background, various stuff, Jim McAllister and stuff like that. The kit man and how he left, and the disharmony in the squad. So was it a great time for a guy to come into the club and hit the ground running? Probably not. So there's probably other things out with that, but again, when you look at Sam Lammers' career and when you look at it there, he plays better when he's in his home country and when he's playing in that league, when he's playing the Eredivisie. So why would he not follow that up? I mean, the Scottish League, as much as the standard gets slaughtered, left, right, and centre, you only need to look at the people who have sort of been middle of the road players in our league who have went down to the English Championship and set it alight recently.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody playing the SPFL for various reasons. Plastic pitches, horrible use of VAR, whatever it is that's horrendous. It's just maybe not for people, So, yeah, he's well suited to being where he is for me. And it seems to be like Dean, you were touching on who would sign him. It looks like there's a couple of teams interested in him, which is good for Rangers. Obviously FC20 seem to be keen as well, so that's good for us.
Yeah, it is, definitely. What do you think, Scott, is kind of going, what Chris was saying, you think it'll be Holland that he will go to?
I would say so. I think I can't read Dutch, or I don't follow Dutch football much, or not. I don't really take much to do with it. I've not got a keen interest in it, but I have kept an eye on Lammers, and I hope with the way he's playing, it's going to open up Ajax's eyes. Ajax are going through a big transition just now. They're not in a good way at all. They'll be looking for proven players to come in and do a job. Like Ajax, PSV. I don't think any of these teams are out with Lammers' ability, if I'm being honest. But I do think his mentality is out with Rangers' ability, if that makes any sense.
Aye.
That's probably my best way of summing it up. I think the guy's he's got a bit of Brandon Barker about him, isn't he? Where he's probably the best player in training, but then he goes out onto the pitch and he can't do it. It's a bit of a stupid comparison, but it's probably a fairly accurate one, to be honest with you.
I know what you mean. It was, I think going in playing from Rangers to Utrecht is polar opposites, and that level of pressure is not there at Utrecht. So seems to maybe be better for him playing for a team that's a lot less pressure. Thanks for bringing that. I was just about to go into that, Scotty. This made me chuckle today. Do you know, like, as we both just all just said there, it's Scottish football's not for everybody. Ali McCoist was, he's a Scottish player, Rangers fan or the rest of it. So that's kind of really a weird comparison, because Sam Lammers is a rabbit caught in headlights at Ibrox, and my opinion is that we should just sell him at peak value, which we're not going to get any more for him if we hold on to him. That's my opinion. What about you guys? What about you, Chris?
It's a strange one there. I think the Amazon Prime advert's hilarious with it as well. Unlimited entertainment, which you did not get with Sam Lammers. That's the polar opposite of what you got. And just as quick as you get a Prime delivery, that's how quick I'd deliver them over the Eredivisie, to be honest. So it's a strange one for me, mate. I'd need to see the actual quote. I'm hopeful, very hopeful, that Craig Moore has not compared them in any way other than second reprieve type stuff. But I'd need to. I'd need to read it over. But it just shows you, see like when you read that there, he's now adored by supporters at his new club. So interesting football, isn't it? Like, where Lammers can, there's not a joke figure for us. I think most fans would wish the guy well, and they're happy.
Definitely.
But it's just interesting how he left with us. We were delighted that somebody had taken him. I remember, obviously, the WhatsApp groups going. But then over there, they're like, we need to keep him. And they wanted everything to keep him. It's just interesting how football works. But by a very a strange comparison, but I'd like to see the actual quotes itself.
Hi. And it's going to come with you, Scotty. What's your take on that?
Craig Moore's mental. Absolutely mental. No, seriously, I think what Chris is saying there in terms of, I think Craig Moore's just he's went away on loan, playing really well, take him back to pre-season, have a look at him now. I can see the thought behind it, but when you look at where we are as a club and what we're doing this summer, I think now I'm on a boat that I want rid of the likes of Tom Lawrence and Todd Cantwell. That's how severe this team needs gutted. Now, if I'm wanting rid of Tom Lawrence and Todd Cantwell and Cyril Dessers, then I certainly don't want Sam Lammers back. Do you know what I mean? That's where I'm probably sitting with on that article. I think it's just probably just more clickbait stuff than anything else. Papers are probably just took a quote for somewhere and made something out of nothing. But I think Lammers is to be. I'm trying to stay on the positive side of him. I don't want him back in the Rangers jersey.
Aye, I think that's quite synonymous with the whole Rangers support. I can't recall seeing anybody really saying that they want him to be here next season. And you mentioned Ajax earlier, Scotty. So on that, I'm going to get you to fire up the next slide that we've got on.
There you go.
So this is just for context, viewers. We don't think that Lammers is in the levels of Sebastian Haller or things like that, but it's just obviously for comparison of how well these guys have done in comparison to what Lammers has done. Now, see what interesting thing is here. Like, so Haller was sold to Dortmund for 26.4 million at 27 years old. Did you say earlier on, Chris, that Lammers is 27? Or Scotty, when you said he's 27, is that right?
Yeah, mate, I think he's 27.
Aye, so he's sort of prime years of forward players, really, isn't it? So that's obviously got to have a bit of value. And you said Ajax are going through a bit of a change in things at the moment, Scotty. So could you see Ajax paying big money for him based on the comparisons here?
No, I don't think we're getting big money for him, but I think where we're coming at face side is, I mean, if you look at 21 goals in 31 games for Ajax for Haller, the other guy, Jørgen Larsen, I think it is, 14 goals in 32 games, and one of them sold to Celta Vigo for 10.5 million, and the other one sold to Dortmund for 26.4. So I think that's kind of where we're coming from in terms of the money we're going to get for Sam Lammers, because he's had a similar impact, albeit within a 6-month period. There's not as many goals, but in terms of goal contributions, if he was at Utrecht a full season, how much would we be getting for him? You know what I mean? So I think we need to get Melvin with 3 million back for him.
Aye.
I think if we get 26.4 million for Sam Lammers, that's like when you add a manager and fit a manager into it, and you just keep buying Rangers players for 30 million and that. Like, it's never going to happen. But I mean, it's a decent comparison to say, that people have performed well in that league, so they've been sold for for more. But I think what probably will go against Lammers, I think, and where maybe a good season or two might end up, taking that away is his sort of track record of sort of burning through teams and being there for a season and not working. You're probably talking there, he's had 2 managers at Rangers. How many managers has he had where it's not clicked for him, in the various different teams and stuff? So you're probably talking double figures, easy. So I think that probably goes against them. But certainly if we can, I've seen one in the comments there about not wanting to just cut our losses and aim high, absolutely. But I think as well, we've got to be realistic. If we were to get 3.5 million back for Lammers and get his wages fully off, and we're not having to do a wage contribution and stuff, I think that's great business for Clement to have a wee bit more into the money that he needs to reinvest in the squad, which, I know we've touched on it and we've spoke about it in different podcasts and stuff, but you're talking double figures players here that we're going to need to try and recruit over the summer period. So if that allows us to do that for a player that Clement was happy to let go, then it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
That is aye, and I can't remember who it was. Somebody, a journalist, had said that players who have that type of impact in the Netherlands, tend to be 10 million value players. Or maybe not verbatimly, but it was words to that effect. So if you're saying if we can get our money back, that's good business. But I'm optimistic that we could maybe even get a wee bit more based on that sort of history of players going for a wee bit more money in Holland. But if we get our money back, after the season that he had, half season he had with us, it's it's a massive coup by the club, and that money, and as I said earlier on, and the wages can go into somebody else. And I think we're going to be needing that money because of the level of rebuild that you had said that we need, Scotty.
I think, as Ross has come in and says, I think 5 million would be a reasonable enough fee. I don't think Rangers would be out with their depth asking for that because of the impact we've had on loan. I think that's €5 million is probably more than fair, to be honest with you, Dean, because he is building his career back up at Utrecht, and whether it's going to be there or somewhere else, he's going to go to a league that hopefully suits him. I don't think Italy doesn't suit his game. Germany doesn't suit his game. I think he needs to be in Holland, if I'm being brutally honest. Probably for a team maybe like AZ Alkmaar, somebody like that that's challenging for honours on a kind of regular basis. No, maybe not challenging for honours, but up in amongst the European places, I think that's probably his level in the Eredivisie. I think he'll score goals. I think he'll have an effect because he's not got 4 players running about him in the 10 playing for Rangers or taking his ankles off any time he gets the ball, because ideally that is what happens in the SPFL. I mean, just look at Danilo this season. He had his cheekbone cracked for a header and then he get his knee mangled in bits. Tells you everything you really need to know about the league. Paul's just asked me about France. I don't really watch much of France football, to be honest with you, mate, but I would imagine anywhere that he's going to get time on the ball, he will be a good player.
He's definitely running out of countries. It's as if he's just sort of throwing darts at a map, innit? Like, where have I not played in Europe and just see where I end up? Like, he's been in Germany, he's been in Scotland, Holland, obviously Italy, France. He's not went in there, so we'll see where he ends up. But I totally agree. I think I'm the same as you, Scott. When I was thinking about it, when you're talking about Dutch football, it's one league that I probably don't watch. I watch a wee bit of Italian football, but Spanish football, I don't really watch the Dutch league, but for whatever reason it suits the big man, didn't it, me?
Aye, fair enough. Dean, what about you? What's your take on it? What would you be asking for fee-wise and all that?
Well, I've always, well, not always, just recently thought about him getting our money back, cutting ties, getting the wages.
Curry says you have to put 50p in a meter, do you know?
Do you know, it's funny that, because I was actually thinking, it's getting a bit dark here, and he's like up and put the lights on, I'm posting the night. But then I was thinking, oh wait there, Curry sometimes sits in the dark a bit like this, doesn't he? So it's
right, so what would you want for a fee from Dino?
I would say money back, wages invested. I'd genuinely be happy with that. I really would be. I mean, I would. I know he's got another 2-3 years left, obviously, in his contract. So if we can get 5 million, absolutely, I'd take that. It's brilliant. But the 10 million, as I said, that somebody had said, I can't remember who it was, but I don't think that does seem a bit much. But if there's teams that are interested, then there might be a slight bidding war going on. So, well, maybe that's true. Lads. I don't know.
That's backfired on a minute.
Just a wee bit. But no, if I think if we can get 5 million back, and if there's a wee bit of bidding war going on, we can get a wee bit more, then happy days, and we can get a player or two from that money that's going to be an upgrade and take us to that next level that we need to get to. Then I'm all for that. So, have you, Chris? Have you got any more thoughts on that, or?
No, I do think somebody mentioned Hagi there in the comments as well, which I really like. Yanis Hagi. I don't know if it's just a wee personal thing for him. I just really like him. I think he's an intelligent football player. I think he's clearly lacking in that bit of pace. And however, I would like to see Hagi under Clement in pre-season and give him a wee bash. I know it's not worked out brilliant in Spain, I'm aware of that, but it would be good for Clement's made an assessment on Lammers already, so you know that's fair. but he's not seen Hagi or made an assessment on Hagi to make that shout. But he's probably another sellable asset. Obviously there's a link back over to Turkey, back over to Galatasaray. That's always going to be there. His dad's an absolute icon over there. But I'd like to see him get a pre-season with us and see how it goes. I wouldn't like to see Hagi just get cast off. Certainly for Lammers though, Clement's made that judgment, made that assessment, and that's the decision that's been made. So we could debate it if anybody wanted to keep him, but ultimately I think Clement made his mind up. But it would be good to see Hagi, make a return back into pre-season and see. But again, does absence make your heart grow fonder a wee bit with players? Do they become better players because you don't see them and they're not here, and you feel they're better than what's there already? As Scott says, as he's touched on, there's not a high bar for Hagi to come back into. The season's been. I know we could end up winning instead of them coming to talk about it. You could end up with a double, but for me, the season's been not been good enough, and I think for what we could have had, there's only a couple of players for me in that squad that I would be sad to see go, to be honest with you. So when you're looking at that in terms of what players have gave us and stuff, Lammers is well down the pecking order. But I know, totally agree with people saying Hagi he is slow. I get that, but again, Clement's not seen him to make an assessment, so I think that's only fair that he gets that chance to do that.
Aye, and before he even went, when he was at Rangers, I've been a Hagi fanboy since day one. That night against Braga's one of the best nights in my life. Genuinely, really was amazing. And I've wanted him to be able to come in and play, and I think Clement is fair, and he will give everybody that chance. I don't think there's anybody that he's given that chance to. So, what's your thoughts on that, Scotty? What do you think?
Hagi's probably one of the ones I would keep, if I'm being honest. I think he's. I know when I'm saying I want to sell everybody apart from John Sterling, Jack Butland, Diamondi's already staying. I'd probably agree with Chris and say that Hagi's got to come back in at least for pre-season, get him playing his favoured position. Because he's got that pass that can open up a defence, and he gets you numbers, he gets you goal contributions, which is the most important thing. He'll do more than what Cantwell or Tom Lawrence is doing.
Aye, I believe that. I believe that too.
He doesn't post on Instagram. He's not on Instagram either.
no.
Come on.
Aye, that's for another night, I think, isn't it? The thing is, right, see with Hagi, a lot of people are saying about him having the pace and things like that, and everybody goes on about the type of player that Clement wants, but you actually pretty much nailed it, Chris, in the way that I look at it now, he's no actually had him to see him play. So we've all heard the managers changing the way that they play because of specific players that they have in their squad, and as you said there, Scott, he's that player that has that pass, he has the goal contributions, and one thing that I believe that we will be needing is a set piece taker, and he is very good with both feet from corners and free kicks. So that is going to be something that we're going to be needing to replace next season. So that could be something that Clement is assessing. Who knows? But well, I guess that's us for the night, gents. So it's going to thank everybody for tuning in. Please subscribe, like, and share our podcast. We thank every single one of you for doing so, and help us get on the way to 2,000 viewers. So, Scotty, just want to say any words to our viewers?
No, mate. Just thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow night we're doing a Walter Smith tribute pod. Me, Chris, Podder, Stevie, and special guest Kevin Thompson are coming on. Obviously, Kevin's going to speak about his time under a gaffer, so that'll be on at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. So come on over, tune in for that. Smash a like, smash the subscribe button, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Brilliant. And thanks, Scotty. And Chris?
Aye, on tomorrow night, obviously for the Great Waltersmith podcast. Looking forward to going up on Saturday for the unveiling of the statue as well. I think for me, the greatest stranger of my generation and lifetime, absolutely. So really looking forward to paying respect to him. We obviously Scotty and but also Kevin Thompson getting him along, obviously to talk about his experiences will be superb. That's a bit of a coup to get that. And I'll not be talking too much about Saturday tomorrow, Scott, just so you know that. But I'm not actually looking forward to the game at the weekend. If I'm going to be honest, I just feel the kind of same old sort of scenario is going to unfold, unfortunately, on Saturday. But I'm crossing my fingers and hoping for something completely different. But I'm just being absolutely realistic about Saturday stuff. However, looking forward to going to obviously see a statue on Saturday, so at least I'll have some bit of joy on my day.
Aye, it'll be good, won't it? It'll be good on Saturday.
Aye, deserved, mate. Deserved. I think what he's done for a football club over various spells, and various different roles, is absolutely unbelievable. For us to come in and when we were on our knees after Le Guin and come in and steady the club back and bring the club back and win 3 in a row and done what he done in the midst of all the nonsense that was happening in the background about the club being sold and everything else. Absolute number one legend for me, without an absolute shadow of a doubt. And the statue for me is just the start. We've got to get a stand named after him and everything else in the future. For me, he's Mr. Rangers for me, and solely missed for our football club. Absolutely.
Aye, definitely. Couldn't agree more with you, mate. Couldn't agree more. Well, thanks very much for coming on, gents. And as I said earlier on, thanks very much for tuning in, folks. And remember, every night is Rangers Journal night.